before I go there, before I do that, I've been threatening to clean this for a while. But it got too cold. And that other room is still, even though it's been in the 60s here, the other room still gets kind of chilly. So I decided to do it live. So let's go to my other camera. And we're going to start cleaning. First off, the very first thing I'm going to do to it is get out my brush, and I'm going to go through and brush down each page. And I'm doing this for a couple of reasons. Number one, it lets me know the page condition. And it did have a pretty nasty fold there. And it makes sure there is no dirt on the inside. You got it, Patrick. Do it live. And when I clean a comic, this is one of the things that I sometimes forget to do. And invariably, when I forget to do it, there's some grit or grime inside the comic. So I have a little checklist that I go by now for cleaning. These are cream to off or cream pages. I'm not even going to say cream to off-white. They are definitely a cream color. They haven't gotten to the tan stage. Wow. Any records for $1.97 or 11 tapes for $1.97? And it shows a bunch of 8-track tapes. I remember 8-track tapes. Nice Black Orchid story. Does it say who did the art in that? Tony DeZuniga did the art. An advertisement for some of the treasure editions. Pretty sure I have this one. Don't know if I have that one or not. I'd like to get all of the DC treasuries eventually. Magic cards, but not Magic the Gathering. As in magic card tricks. Let's see. I have this one, obviously. I definitely have that one and that one. I think I have this one. I'm pretty sure I have that one. I'm not sure if I have that one. This one I think I've got. And this one I think I have, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I collect DC comics. There's no question about it. Now, there is a stain up here that I won't be able to take care of, and that goes all the way through the comic, going up here too, and I just don't think that's going to come out. Even if I washed it, I don't think I could get it to come out. That's the first thing I'm going to do is clean it like that. Next, we're going to take one of these cotton rounds, and all I'm going to do is go over it. Take a piece of paper. This is just a regular sheet of paper. And very lightly go over it See if I get any dirt off. And even if you have a brand new comic that you just got from a comic shop, do this before you put it in a bag and board. Chances are you're not going to get any dirt, but you never know. Sometimes you do. Well, that back really needs a cleaning. I did wash my hands before I went live. So next up, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this old backing board that I have. It's a really old backing board. I'm just going to stick it in here. Just like that. And that gives me a little bit of support. And then I'm going to take my eraser, clean it off a little bit on my mouse pad. And we're just going to start right up here in the corner where it says still only 20 cents. And I'm going to start cleaning the white. We'll turn another light on, get some more light on the subject. That allows me to see it a little better. And that's all I'm going to do is just go over it real easy. Now, I'm not going to clean the whole thing tonight because I don't feel like being on here for like 4 or 5 hours. I'll probably just do the front cover. Maybe next week I'll do the back cover. And we'll come down here to the comics code, go over that real light. And then I'll start doing the background for the red, or the lettering. I am not, let me use this piece of cardboard. Yeah, that's better. I'm not going over it with any pressure at all, other than what the eraser gives it. And I'll probably end up having to do this a bunch of times. I use the same cotton round that I went over it with originally to clean off any eraser fines and dirt that comes off. And I am glancing up occasionally, so if you make a comment, I will see it, and I will answer your comments if you make any. I will be doing I do have a stack of comics, by the way, that I will be offering up for sale at $1 a piece a little bit later. But I wanted to get some of this done since I've been promising. I need a thinner eraser to get these. So I just have to be really super careful with it and not give any pressure. Come back and do the Phantom part of the Phantom Stranger. Again, I'm only worried about doing the white. I'm getting some dirt off. This can take a while to do, but I think it's important to show people you don't have to be an expert at cleaning comics. You just have to be willing to take a risk. And of course, that risk is if you're worried about ruining the comic, you shouldn't be trying to clean it. I don't worry about it. I just want it to look better. And I think it is starting to look a little better. Take it down here now. Along the spine where this has what is called a progressive bindery defect. What that means is that it's not the line that separates the front cover to the back cover isn't perfectly aligned with the spine of the comic. So that's called a progressive bindery defect because it's wider here than it is up here. So that's what that means. So from now on, if I ever talk about a comic having a progressive bindery defect, you'll know what I'm talking about. Maybe. Maybe not. It's just nice and easy. It's not going to get all the dirt off, but it'll get a decent chunk of it off. Now, sometimes I use this, which is Immaculate. I'm not going to be using this, partially because what's left in there is all I have. And that's really mostly for getting fingerprints off of comics. It really doesn't take off that much dirt. I mean, it will take off dirt, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, it's used for fingerprints. I have more, but I haven't seen it since the flood, so I don't know where it is. It'll be in a future lost and found, I'm sure. We'll go over these white parts again. Just to clean it up a little more. Again, it's taking off some dirt, just not a lot. That's okay. Don't have to take off all of the dirt. Just enough to make it look better. I probably won't show my actual pressing of this. What I'll do is I'll put it together. I will. I'll bring all the material, everything I need to make the to make like the sandwich that I make with this, and show that part. But then when I go to press it, I'm not going to show that because I've shown it before. I've shown what I do. I've shown how I do it before. Of course, I've shown this before too, but still. You guys had to pick the hard one, didn't you? And this was selected by the chat as the comic they wanted to see me clean from start to finish. But cleaning is not necessarily pressing. So now I'm going to do something you're not going to expect. This has something that won't come off. So this is an X-Acto blade. This is something you do not want to do if you're not experienced. And it's something that was stuck on there that I couldn't get off. And now it's off. And that takes a very delicate touch. Not something for the faint-hearted. Do this a little more. Normally when I do this, I'm using my magnifying lens. But if I do that right now, you won't be able to see what I'm doing because the lens would be in the way of the camera. So. That's pretty much the dry cleaning that I can do on the front cover. But I'm going to do more. If I can find it. There it is. It's a soot sponge. You do not have to buy an absorbing soot sponge. There are multiple companies that sell these. You don't have to get one that's made by absorbing. This is not one made by absorbing. It works just fine. As you can see, it's kind of dirty because I've used it a number of times. I'm going to use this edge right here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go very lightly over it. I do put a little pressure on it. Not too much. But as you can see, that'll take off some surface dirt. Sometimes I do this before I do any erasing. Sometimes I do it after. This is a good way to clean up some of the color portions of the comic. These were originally made to clean wallpaper after a fire. But they work really good for cleaning comics. Now, if these get really dirty, you can throw them away. You can wash them. Mild. When I wash them, I use Dawn dish soap. Clean it out real good, and then rinse it real good. Let it air dry. I do not use it until it is completely dry. After I wash this one, I'll probably wait 3 or 4 weeks before I actually try using it again. How you doing, Jason? Glad you could stop in. Like I said, it cleans it pretty good. But I'm not done. One more thing I'm going to do with this cover, and then I'm going to say it's good enough. What is this? I have something on the cover there. I need to buy some more of this. This is actually absorbing putty. And I'm starting to run low. It has to be kneaded really well before you can do anything with it. And different people use this in different ways. Some people, when they use it, they use it like an eraser and they go over it like that. And other people do it the way I'm going to do it, which is once it gets warmed up and nice and soft, you want to get it to about the consistency of Play-Doh. And once it's like that, I roll it, and then I roll it on the comic. Just like that. Oops. And try not to hit the camera. Again, this is another method of taking dirt off. That I use. I'm really concerned with that. There's something on there that's not coming off. I might end up having to wash this. Not wash it, but, you know, use a little bit of soap and water on it. And I'll show you how to do that too tonight. So like I said, we're going to do the front cover, and maybe next week I'll do the back cover. I thought that was a scratch originally, but now I'm starting to think it isn't. It's something stuck on the book. So here we go. It's definitely getting some dirt off. Lots of different methods here. Lots of different ways that I show you to clean. You don't have to use all of these. I don't have to use all of these. Just these are different methods to do. There is one thing that I always do when I'm done. And I'm not going to say I'm done because I am going to show you that one other method. When I get to this point, and let's say this, I'm finished with this and the comic is clean. I take a chem wipe. Now you can use a tissue paper, but if you use tissue paper, you don't want any kind of scent on it. And all we're going to do is buff the comic. And you can apply pressure here. Just be careful when you get to the edges. And look, dirt came off. But that's another method I use. I do that. And I also do that after I do the next step. Now this next step, I probably don't need to do this, but I want to do it just to show you. And I'm going to do it with something that you're not going to expect. This is just dishwashing soap. This is I think this might be a 3-ounce bottle, but I use like 1 or 2 drops of dishwashing soap. I use Dawn because that's what I use. And what we'll do, I put a very small spot. It's like a 1/2 inch, and it goes all the way through. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and rub it along the comic. You have to be real careful when you do this. Don't want to apply any pressure. Not really. You're just dragging it along. Again, we're taking off surface dirt. And remember how clean the comic was, right? It was pretty clean. It's showing a little red. Some of the red does come off. That happens, but not that much, and it's not that bad. So that has to dry. And once it's fully dry, then we can go to the next step. I'm not going to wait for it to fully dry. I'm going to tell you that right now. We're just going to go ahead and do it. And as you know, I still have that board here to protect the inside pages. But I'm just going to go ahead and go to the next step, which is, again, cotton round. And we're going to take distilled water. That's all it is, just water. Same thing. Just a little tiny bit is all it takes. And then we will do exactly the same thing that I just did, but this time I'm not so much cleaning it as taking off the soap that I just put on the comic. So we're just going to go around the same way. And as you can see, it's a little damp because it's grabbing the cover. That's why you have to you'll really see the effect of this when I do the back cover. Now, while it's still damp, because I don't want any streaks on it, I take my chem wipe or my tissue paper, whatever, and I start going over it, and I'm taking up any excess water. And again, it's also buffing out the comic. But this will prevent streaks. It also helps it to dry quicker. No, actually, if you do the way I show you, it doesn't. And it's only the cover. It's not going onto the inside at all. And of course, I will end up pressing it. But once it dries, you put it in a bag and board, and you don't have to worry about it. But look how shiny that is. Now we'll look at the back side. It's got some shine, but it's not like the front. I'm going to let this air dry. We're going to go and we're going to show you, I'm going to show you some comics, $1 a piece. Matter of fact, everything I show for sale tonight, with the exception of one thing, is going to be $1 a piece, and I might not show that item. Yeah, nice and glossy. When it's pressed, it gets even better. But I'll show you this at the end of the show to show you that it's still flat. It's not gotten bad like that. Let me take this whole thing. This is a 54-point backing board for a Treasury size comic, by the way, or Life magazine. Set that over there, and we'll switch back to my regular camera. Let's take a look at that comic. Did we get any rippling? No, we didn't. Still nice and shiny. It is bent slightly over. And we'll clean the backside next week. So we'll work on that next week, and then be okay. So take that backing board out of it because I might need that for something else. I had the backing board for this one. Put it on a backing board and slide it into its backing board. So next week, I'll clean the back of it, and you can watch that.